I want to address you mostly on the conversation going on matters taxes, especially the fact that we are having a finance bill, which I'm told that we are having around 3-4 days to be able to finish it. If you have any comment to make now or forever, you keep your peace. The president in Atlanta, Georgia, made a statement by telling Kenyans in diaspora that they should be able to allow Kenyans in Kenya to pay their taxes the way they are also paying their taxes in the US. While we don't disagree that taxes are paid in the US, the question we're asking, are the taxes in America used the same way taxes in Kenya are used? Do we have a thief as head of state in America as compared to the thief we have at home? Do we have the same corruption index in the US like the ones we have in Kenya? Out of all the countries which are sampled, which is 173 countries in the world, the US, in terms of goodness in corruption, is top 10. Kenya is in the bottom 10. How can we collect taxes and use the same way? But let me tell the president, comparing percentage of taxation to GDP, which you said Kenya is 14%, while other countries are doing 24-25%, let us distinguish the following. You collect taxes to maintain state services like, let's say, road network, healthcare, education, cost of living, security, and the rest. And let me tell the president, I have statistics here. Percentage of paved roads in the US is 73%. India, it is 67%. China is 100% paved roads in China. Brazil is 11%. Kenya is 10%. So how can we pay the same percentage of taxes as America, yet American roads are 73% paved? Kenya is 10% paved. And I also counted, I have consulted for Kenya. I know that between Busia and Mombasa, there are 125,000 potholes. When the president was driving the best vehicles in the US, let him tell me whether he saw any pothole in America. So if there are potholes in America, and there are no potholes in America, and there are potholes in Kenya, how can we pay taxes the same way as a country with no potholes? How many doctors are working, and what is the salary of a doctor in America compared to the salary of a doctor in Kenya? What is the salary of a teacher in America compared to the salary of a teacher in Kenya? What is the salary of a military official in America compared to Kenya? What is the salary of a police? The minimum wage in Kenya is 15,000 shillings, which he proposed to increase. He has not even increased. He proposed. America, the minimum wage is 160,000. So how can the president be doing doublespeak? He wants us to live like America. Let him collect taxes if that is the case. The day Kenya will look like America, we'll pay the American tax. We cannot live we cannot be living in trenches. We cannot be living in bushes. We cannot be living in sewages and paying American taxes. When they will clear all the sewages in Kenya, all water in all taps in Kenya, when all roads will cease to have potholes, when everybody can afford life in Kenya, we shall pay American taxes. Before that, let him come home very quickly and repair these roads we have here, then ask for the taxes. Our Kenyans, if a Kenyan cannot even be able to rent a plane he's with the US, there's no Kenyan who can afford that plane. The plane has to come from Abu Dhabi. How can we pay taxes for Abu Dhabi? The plane for American president is not equal to his. So let him live the life that he's living as he speaks what he's speaking. We cannot want someone who has stolen money from us. It is our taxes. The more taxes go up, the more corruption go up, the more government services go down, and he wants to make us look like a fool. Kenyans are educated, so you cannot be able to cheat us. We know your mission very well. Finish your private service, private visit and interested visit in the US, come back home and smell the coffee. Here in Kenya, There's the National Mall in Washington, D.C. looks like this one in Givenchy Garden. Why is it not as beautiful as National Mall in Washington, D.C.? If you want to give us American life, we shall pay American taxes. But for now, we shall pay Kenyan taxes, live Kenyan life, and also at the same time, ride on American roads, go to Kenyan schools, go to Kenyan hospitals. Until this changes, don't lecture us in America. Problems are more at home. How can you go to America as if America is doing things are well, while at home even your DP does not want to hear your taxes? Convince your DP because he has left you. He believes the taxes are too high for his people. Come and have that conversation at home. Don't run away from Kenya. It is stated you can run away from your problems, but you cannot hide from them. Your problems are Kenyan's problem, not American problems. Come with a Kenyan solution, not American solution. Thank you.
Maybe I also just add on the issue of finance bill. I think as members of the general public, we have also submitted our memorandum seeking to review those corrosive provisions of the draconian Finance Bill 2024. For the record, each and every clause in that draconian document we have sought to review, we have challenged, and for every challenge that we have mounted on those clauses of the Finance Bill, they have been backed up and supported by an affidavit drawn and signed by a sovereign citizen of Kenya. So you can imagine all the clauses in the Finance Bill. Each and every one of them we have challenged because we believe the Finance Bill is very, very corrosive to the prosperity of this country. We believe highly that the ideology of every regime is reflected in its tax policy as contained in the Finance Bill 2024. And in our assessment, the Kenya Kwanza regime and its tax policy is draconian, it is punitive, it is oppressive, and we hope that Parliament will take seriously the views that we have submitted in that memorandum so that the bill, the Finance Bill, those provisions on essential commodities can be reviewed downwards. Something like edible oil, bread, M-Pesa transaction fee, all this must be reviewed downwards. Otherwise, there will be no prosperity in Kenya. It is famously said, and I want to reaffirm, that there is no country in history that has ever overtaxed itself to prosperity. You cannot overtax a nation to prosperity. Therefore, we call on the President, come back so that we can have this conversation here. Don't run away. We know the deadline for submitting this memorandum is almost expiring, and we want you back here home as soon as possible so that we can have a conversation on these fundamental provisions of the Finance Bill 2024. Because as Kenyans, we will not accept anything that is oppressive to us unless you tell us that the taxes that you increased in the Finance Bill 2023, how much did you achieve? How did you use it? And why did you fail to meet your target? When you raise the taxes, the proportional impact or consequence is that the tax collection will go down. So it does not make sense to increase the taxes so that people can evade taxes. We want the taxes to be rational as we have proposed in our memorandum, and we hope Parliament will take this matter as seriously as possible because that is their mandate. Otherwise, we will go and take the keys of Parliament and lock it and give it to the people.
Let me give advice on this financial act because there's a need to look at it economically. First of all, let us understand what problem should a financial bill solve. The financial bill in Kenya now should solve two problems. One, high debt, and two, economic stimulation, because the economic activity is low. So how can you be able to stimulate the economy to grow at the same time solve the debt issue? So as an economist, these two things are contradictory normally. Because if you want to make economic activity to go high and you have to pay debt might be paid by collecting taxes. So I want to advise the president on this matter because this is a sound economic advice. I'm sure he does not know. Plus all his economic council do not know. To stimulate an economy at the same time offer debt, lower lower debt, you don't have to use one strategy. They are using one strategy, which is tax, 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 tax. But you have to use a cocktail of economic policies. One, raise taxes to the point of to optimal point upon which the economy can continue work. And for that matter, I ask you to review the taxation downwards by at least 12%. The second thing you need to do is you need to lower the interest rates, because if you are taxing people highly and the interest rates are going up, entrepreneurs, business community cannot access fund so that there can be more economic activity. So you cannot raise taxes at the same time you also raise interest rates. So interest rates must go down as you enhance taxes. The second thing that he has to do is you have to lower government expenditure. Because if you increase government expenditure and increase taxes, which means taxes are just going to recover expenditure, and therefore nobody can see development coming to them. Because there is no education, there is no money in healthcare, there is no money in cost of living, so you have to do that. The third thing is that we have to restructure the debt. In Kenya, we are paying odious debt. What's an odious debt? Odious debt is debt which is not legal. Like you see, people borrowed money, that money didn't come to Kenya and we are paying. So we know official debt in Kenya is 2.1 trillion according to Parliament, appropriation by Parliament. Treasury says 6.8 trillion. The President office says 11.98 trillion. Which is odious debt. There's debt which we are paying, which we're not paying. So we should restructure our debt so that the economy can wake up. And lastly, let us invest on things which will encourage trade and business. So if you put these initiatives together, the economy will wake up. But if you only have one medicine, malaria, taxation, diarrhea, the same medicine. When someone has headache, the same medicine. When there's cholera, the same medicine. COVID, the same medicine. So you are called Zakayo because your only strategy is tax. Uhuru was not called Zakayo, but he taxed people. Kibaki taxed people, but he was not called Zakayo. So you are Zakayo because when people see you, they see only tax. They don't see anything else. They don't see healthcare, they don't see education, they don't see tax. So don't use one tool. You're only using one tool hammer called what? Tax. Lower your government expenditure. Please, ensure you lower interest rate for banks so that Kenyans can access credit. 3, please ensure that we restructure our debt. 4, invest in trade. You are in the US. I can see you there. You are going to where people are doing film industry. You have carried no single youth there. So who will work with the film industry in the US? You took a photo there with your wife and yourself, isn't it? So your wife will bring the business to young people. And didn't see any young person standing next to you to work with the American industry. Do you know how American youth has grown the American economy? So the president, please don't have one tool. If you cannot get this man, please call again, which I'll tell you. But the truth is that you are not getting it right. But we are tired of it. If you cannot get it right by 1st of June, we shall call you back. Because hakuna madaraka bila mamlaka. The sovereignty belongs to Kenyans. We are going to recall you on 1st of June. We are launching a bill here in Kaloleni Social Hall to recall you because we are tired. Continue traveling. You'll wake up and find the plane cannot move anymore because we have taken over the country. Thank you.